There we go. We in the.
Yeah. What's good people? It's your boy CJ Randolph, and this is the Just the Messenger podcast. And today we got a special guest, the homie, Mr. Cotton. What's up, man?
Most definitely, my brother. I appreciate it. You know what I'm talking about? It's your main man, Mr. Cotton. Back at it with some news you can use, man. I go by Shoe Browser on YouTube. Y'all can check me on YouTube at Shoe Browser 7137. And on Instagram at Kickston713, man. It's my man, Mr. Randolph channel. Do my first interview.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, just being a multi-faceted, multi-talented young man.
No, I appreciate that, man. For real.
Oh, yeah. We have so many things that we do definitely have in common. You know, shout out to Dragon Ball.
Yeah, most definitely, you know what I'm talking about.
And I know the whole community is mourning the death of a great creator.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I'm always looking forward to the on the next Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
yeah.
now it's just like, are we gonna ever hear that again? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
So shouts out to the anime community, because I know that's something that we definitely in the hallways was like, hey, you check out this, you do this, you do
every
this.
day,
Like,
every day, yeah.
It's good to have someone with that like common aspect,
mm-hmm.
and you know, that just builds relationship and community, and good to know that I got a brother that understands me.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that, because like I remember how maybe 10, 14 years ago,
yeah.
Dragon Ball wasn't the most. I mean, it's always been talked about, and it's a really big thing globally.
Right.
But at least for me, I know that wasn't the coolest thing to talk about.
Right.
Like now, when we see in the school, kids can really be into anime, and it's almost an it thing. When I was in school, that was not the coolest thing to be in the Dragon Ball Z, man. Like it just wasn't. So I'm happy to see that not only are the kids kind of being more into that and they can express themselves, but like Mr. Randolph said, other brothers that's into it too. Because for the longest, I thought it was just me. Now I see everybody in the Dragon Ball Z, so that's cool.
Imagine that, and now imagine me. You know what I'm saying? Back in high school.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know, but I've always wanted. It's like, hey, I like what I like. If you don't like it, cool. If you don't, let's ride.
Right.
You know
That's absolutely. So
yeah. One other thing that I have, since we're on this creative mind, one thing that you've always interested me in is shoes.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, so tell me about your journey with this love of shoes and collections, and what you and that journey, and I guess the new phase of it for you.
Well, most people know I'm a sneaker collector. I've been sneaker collecting probably since I was born. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you're young, you know, our parents buy us a pair of tennis shoes. So I was born in '95. So, you know, Michael Jordan won his first championship in 93, 92, or 96. It's one of them. I could be off, you know what I'm talking about. But, you know, my dad was really into basketball. So my dad played at the University of Houston. He tried to walk on, I think, for the Lakers when he was young.
Cool.
So my dad was really into basketball growing up. Of course, my mom, my dad into basketball, so my mom into it as well. You know what I'm
Right.
So I remember when I was young, you know, I had a few sneakers here and there.
Yeah.
My mom bought me like a pair of Columbia 11s when I was a kid. I still got that baby size, that U size pair. I had a pair of Bred 11s when I was a kid. When I was going to Edgar Glover, I had a pair of Laney 14s. Like I didn't have a lot of tennis shoes, you know, just, you know how your parents take you to the mall for your birthday or Christmas, because really that was it for me. Birthday or Christmas, I got a new pair of shoes. So that's just what I was into. I didn't really understand what like shoes were.
Yeah.
You know, like they're just shoes. So I run in them, playing them like they're meant to be.
Right.
But I didn't know they were Jordans. So that kind of stopped for me around like 6th grade. Because 6th grade, I got into Vans and Converses.
Okay.
Y'all started skateboarding.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was really into Vans, Converse, Chuck Taylor Highs, Van Lows, stuff like that. Then I went to 9th grade. So 3 years passed. I got to 9th grade. I started going to 3rd grade Marshall High School. And my friends, they really into sneakers at this time. Like my best friend Christian, Justin, Zach, Charlie, like they was really into the shoe thing.
Right.
So I was into shoes, but I wasn't like into it like that, like knowing the names of them and all that. So one day after school, I go to Christian house and we just go on Flight Club. We was going on Flight Club like every day, looking up all these different Jordans. Like, oh, I get older, I'm gonna get these, and I get older, I'm gonna get these. But that really stuck with me. So then my sophomore year, I started working at HEB off of Braeswood and Chimney Rock. You know, it's closed down now, but I was working over there. Worked over there for like 2-3 years. Yeah. One of my favorite jobs I ever had in my life because you get paid every Friday, and I got to work outside on baskets, so I ain't really had to like do too much. You know what I'm saying? Right. And anytime you go to lunch or break, I mean, it's a grocery store, so the food is right there for you. You ain't got to go nowhere. So every Friday, I would save up 2 checks, so about every 2 weeks, and I buy me a pair of sneakers, trying to build that collection up because we started a little shoe group. And the goal, of course, we have kicks, wear different pair of kicks to school, the ladies and the females, different shoes, you know what I'm saying?
A little stunned a little bit.
Yeah, so I just kind of stuck with it. I worked at Foot Locker for a little bit when I was in high school too, over the summer. So I had that going. I started working at Foot Locker. Now I'm able to buy shoes with employee discounts, and I had started making relationships in Facebook groups. So I was in Facebook, Houston Soul Real, there was a couple other Facebook groups at that time, but just networking, working, and buying kicks. That was pretty much what I was on in high school. So by the time I got to my 12th grade year, I had a pretty substantial sneaker collection going on. It was probably maybe 20, 30 pairs. And at that time, I thought that was a lot of kicks. So I chilled with it because I went to college. Of course, I'm not working in college. I'm just on campus. So I started getting into trading because you can't buy shoes. You can always trade sneakers or sell sneakers to buy other ones.
Okay.
So that kind of boosted my collection because now I stopped focusing so much on quantity and focus more so on quality. Okay. Because then I started getting some really, I wouldn't say expensive sneakers, but just rare. You know what I'm saying? Rare, and they was good condition because I had good condition shoes too.
Right.
So I was doing that all throughout college. While I was in college, my stepdad been married to my mom since I was probably 7, 8 years old. And through that marriage, my uncle is a Jumpman Bostic. So Jumpman Bostic on YouTube, I'm sure if y'all ever seen his YouTube channel, he's the basement of the J's. Got probably, in my opinion, the best Jordan collection in the world. Ooh. I think he got 1,400 pairs of Jordans from the boxes, the clothes, the memorabilia, the Jordan bobbleheads, the original Gatorade bottles, shoebox, all that. You know what I'm talking about? So I've been on Uncle Mark since I got 12. I went to see his collection a long time ago, and that was a big inspiration for me too. Yeah. That led to the high school thing because I knew about his collection. Yeah. And I was like, man, when I get old, I'm gonna be just like you, having this big sneaker collection. So that plus working and all that combined, get to college, I got the knowledge now of shoes, and I know how to move them and network and talk to other people for shoes. I got real cool with a couple store managers just from going to the store. They started helping me get some pairs for personal use, you know what I'm saying? And then, man, when I got out of school, man, it was up because when I got out, I got my first official job, a career job. Yeah. I was substitute teaching, and man, that substitute teaching check was marvelous. When you working a minimum wage job as a young man and stuff, young woman, you think that's a lot of money until you actually get a career salary job, and that check hit. Man, I had about $1,300, which ain't a lot of money, but that's a lot of money when you about 24 and out of school. A $1,300 check. First thing I did, bought me some sneakers. You know what I'm saying? Got me a nice pair of sneakers too that I got off of. I think I got them off of eBay or something. Yeah. And just stayed with it, man. Just stayed with it. So I kept doing that until probably the last 2-3 years. My wife, was my girlfriend at the time, we had got an apartment together. And she was, I moved all my kicks in. And they was like, dang, I didn't know you had that many shoes. Because she knew I would wear different shoes, but she didn't know I had that many. Right. When she came over to my mama's house, I had them kind of stacked up where you can't really tell. But then you kind of see them. It was a lot. So she bought me this equipment because I watch a lot of sneaker YouTube, and she was like, you watch so much sneaker YouTube videos, and you into the shoes, you talk about shoes, you might as well just start making videos on shoes. And I was like, man, ain't nobody gonna hear what I think about it.
Nothing like the support of a woman.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for real. I was like, ain't nobody gonna watch me talk about shoes because it's plenty of people in that market already. You know what I'm saying?
I fully understand what you're talking about.
I don't believe in oversaturation. I want to, if I'm gonna ever do something, do my own thing. I didn't want to follow behind other people and do what they do.
Yeah.
But you know, I went with it. So she bought me a little stand, a camera mic set up off of Amazon, and I was really into Dragon Ball Z. I have a big Dragon Ball Z action figure collection. I've been doing that since I was a kid. You know, action figures, Hot Wheels. You know, I'm into collecting things.
Yeah.
So I found a way to incorporate my love for Dragon Ball Z with the shoes. You know what I'm saying? Because I was on Google one time, and I don't know about y'all, if y'all ever like used to trace shoes or trace action, you know, just draw.
I did it with cars.
Yeah, so
I
I got a Hot Wheels book set that I buy sometimes from Dollar General.
Yeah.
It's like $1. Just can color them, and it's just like, you know what I'm saying? So I was on Google one day, and I saw a picture of like Goku with some Jordan 1s on. And I got that idea, like, man, I could put the figures with the shoes and kind of do it like that.
Right.
And ever since then, man, just went with it. You know, started my first video. I think I shot my first video in August or July of 2022, 23. And here I am 2 years later, almost 600 subscribers, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. You know, and I don't let it get to me. It's just cool to see the progress, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And just staying with it. I do in-store reviews now. Shout out to my people at Active Athlete, my partner Adrian, them, and Josh, them, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And do in-store reviews, early reviews. I shoot videos like every week now. You know, it's almost like a job now. I don't get paid from it. I'm not saying that. I would like to get paid from it, but you know, it's just all off the strength. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So that's obviously a passion. You can see it in just the way that you articulate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. My bad. I know I was kind of rambling.
No, that's not a ramble. This is your story. You know? Like this is what we are here for. To learn more about you, to learn more about your passions, and how that can connect and deliver a message to somebody else. You know, my son. You helped me out with like trying to figure out some of the different things on like he's very creative also, and like wanting to have different ideas on different colorways and sneakers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, I reached out to you like, hey, what paint should I get for him to what's easiest for this? And so, you know, he's come out with some crazy designs, and I'm just like, dang. Yeah, I was kind of creative, but
y'all had got the Angular's paint.
I don't remember what it was.
For sure.
Because it was a birthday gift, so I slid that on to my mom. So she bought it. And
shout out to the mom, man.
Oh yeah. But you know, and having that passion and you know, going from what it seemed like kind of your parents had you kind of interested in that because they was buying you shoes for birthdays and stuff like that.
Yeah, like, you know, it was just more so, you know, I used to live in South Park, you know, that's Houston, Texas, you know what I'm saying? Over there, the Jordans is a really big thing, you know, in our community, which kind of, my mindset on shoes is way different than it used to be, but I just think back in the past how fixated I was with, you know, sneakers or wearing Nike or Ralph Lauren or FUBU, South Pole, you know, like when you're growing up over in them kind of environments, that clothing is everything, imagery is everything, how you present yourself, people take you a way different kind of, they look at you different, talk to you different. So I was never really into the fashion side of it. I just like having basketball sneakers because I played basketball. So I used to want to go to the NBA. I want to be like Michael Jordan. What's the best way to be like Michael Jordan? I need to wear his shoes and hoop in his shoes. Y'all ever seen Like Mike with Lil Bow Wow?
Right.
Like that was a great movie for a kid because man, this little kid, he playing basketball with Patrick Ewing and all these guys, and he eating pizza in the hotel room, and you know, after the Jordan, I think it was Air Force, the Jordan 1 stuck in the little electric power lines. That movie spoke to me as a kid. So that was the big inspiration. I don't think my mom or dad really intended for it to become like it is now. It's now like collecting. I just think they was just, you know, two African American parents. I wasn't poor or broke, but I did live in a urbanized community, you know what I'm saying? And that's just what we was on. So they, like birthday and Christmas, now kids get shoes every release. At least where me and him work, they have June Jordans every day. But I had to make my grades
with
good.
bad grades.
I had to have good grades, not get in trouble, chores, be respectful. And it wasn't a guarantee I would get that. That's just what I would want.
Correct.
Christmas or my birthday. Because if y'all know, a lot of Jordans come out Christmas time with the 11s.
Yep.
And the summertime, it's always like, some summer Jordans come out. So I knew my birthday, Christmas. And it was really, now that I'm thinking about it, it's really my grandmother, rest in peace, my grandmother, who was really the main one that was buying me those shoes. My mom would, but my mom, like some of y'all moms, them J's was high. They way higher now. But they was at least like maybe like 120, 110, exactly. 130 then. And that was considered expensive still. My dad, he ain't never bought me a pair of shoes in my life, just being 100, you know what I'm talking about. But my grandma was the main one. My grandma and my mom, we used to go to Alameda Mall, Charlestown Mall. Yeah. And there was another mall over there. I can't remember the name of the mall. I just know it was like, I remember Foot Locker used to be outside. So Foot Locker, when I was in the mall, there used to be actually a Foot Locker store outside. And we was going to a Foot Locker over there near Gulf Gate off of 45, I think. And that's where I would mainly go get my sneakers, you know what I'm talking about, just birthday, Christmas. Maybe, luckily, here and there. Yeah. Beginning of the year, maybe. But that's when my foot started growing. So I was pretty much regular height like everybody else. But then when I hit by like 6th, 7th grade, I kind of grew. Lucky you. So then my grandma was, hey man, it's not so, hey, people want to be tall, man. I think I'm 6'5", something like that. Yeah. It's cool till you gotta buy jeans. It's cool till you gotta buy jeans. You ever buy all your jeans off the internet?
Mm-hmm. The Lord giveth and He taketh. Yeah,
there you go. You can't buy no sweatpants at the store. You can't buy no jeans. And I love wearing cargo shorts. Right. And I ain't wore a pair of cargo shorts probably in the last 3-4 years. I just can't find a long pair. So be careful what you wish for, man. Yeah. For real.
So your grandmama kind of supplied the desire and the passion.
Yeah, for sure.
As your foot got bigger, right? Mm-hmm. As you got taller, the interest grew and grew and grew. And then of course in college, you did the right thing and priorities kind of changed, right?
Yeah, because man, I'm like, if y'all go to school, so I went to school, I graduated from Thurgood Marshall High School, I graduated number 12 in my class. It means a lot more to me now, but back then I was like, okay, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. But I had a scholarship to go to school for engineering. Yeah. But unfortunately, I wasn't super disciplined with school, because school is easy. I don't care what nobody say, at least in my opinion, school is easy to do. It's all about just how bad do you want to pass and discipline. If you can discipline yourself to take time out the day to study something and learn it or master it, or just learn enough to apply it, you can be successful at many things in the world that you want to be. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So when I went to school, I didn't have that mindset. I was just passing classes. Right. Because I've been there. School, you learn probably like, sophomore, junior year. Oh, this is easy. I just take my notes and do this assignment. I can make an A. Yep. You feel me? So that's probably only one class I really tried hard in, and that was calculus with Mr. Steels, because he was holding us to a different standard, and I appreciate that now. He really wanted me to get math. And I also had Mr. Baker, who sparked my interest in English, because he was probably the greatest English teacher I've ever had in my life. Just a real passionate, melanated man who was into English. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We don't really see too many of us in English. You know what I'm saying? So, I got to school, had my scholarship, and I had some money to go to school, but I wasn't disciplined. Yeah. So my first year, I went for electronic engineering, and I played basketball when I was there too, but I stopped doing that too because I knew I wasn't going to the NBA. Yeah. Because I didn't want it as much as those guys who want to go to the NBA. I mean, they go on the morning practice, night practice, practicing even after night practice, practicing on the weekends, practicing when we go home for the break, they practicing. I was going home. I miss home cooked food. I wasn't that committed, and that's okay. You know what I'm talking about? So with the ownership of it, what I'm saying? Ownership is big, bro. Yeah. Got to own up to things that you didn't do so well in life instead of making excuses all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So with the school thing, I wasn't disciplined. I had chemistry, chem lab, biology, bio lab, trigonometry, and trig lab. So that was my freshman year schedule, y'all. I'm telling y'all that because don't make the same mistake I did. That was my freshman year schedule. Now most freshmen take basics, right? But I'm thinking I got it like that. You know what I'm talking about? I'm a mega genius. So I tried it. I was doing well up until the first test. So in college, some of your classes are 4 tests. That's it. In school you get homework, quizzes. Your teacher might even give you a grade on taking the notes. You know what I'm talking about? Right. Not in college. Nope. So I failed my first test in all my classes. And I studied for it, but I failed the first test. biology in college is way different than biology in high school,
Yes.
man. It's different. So I failed, and unfortunately, I lost a lot of motivation from that because that was like my first time failing like that. I've failed testing in high school before, but I've never failed a class. I've never been retained. I used to get commended and perfect tax scores. You feel me?
Right.
So that just would never happen for me. So I just got super unmotivated. Not like unmotivated, like I was depressed. Right. Just more so, man, I done failed this test. Why? I study tomorrow. I'm gonna do something else. Tomorrow never came. So I play League of Legends online. I'm really into League of Legends. So I don't know why, but during this time I started getting really into League. Like I'm playing League every day. Trying to get my rank account to platinum. Playing at the Multicultural Student Center, the MSC. At A&M, because I went to A&M, we have a center there where kids can come and do a lot of different things, play games. So I just got really into competitive gaming. Me and my homie Josh, you know what I'm talking about. So instead of going to class, I'm competitive gaming. And when I ain't competitive gaming, I'm playing UIL basketball or intramural basketball.
Okay.
So I'm intramural basketball, like basketball life. Right. And I'm playing these video games like I can get on with esports something, not going to class, man. So after my freshman year doing that first semester, I got this email in January to put me on academic probation. And I had a 0.4 GPA, man. Ooh. I always tell the students that. Yes. Because I don't want you ever think you can't do. I had a 0.4, like it was low. So I got hit on academic probation. I lost all my scholarships, you know what I'm saying? And I got hit with a first real big conversation. I could say, my mom looked me in my eyes and was like, "Hey, what you gonna do?" Like, because I didn't understand what scholarship money meant. Right. I didn't. We talk about scholarships for these kids. You get a scholarship, but if you ever ask these young people, what does scholarship mean? Right. Like, what does that mean? I didn't know. So that money, that free money, that scholarship money, I lost that. School costs money. So a lot. I had to start paying for school. Like my mom, shout out to my mom, she took out a loan for me. And I didn't realize what loan meant. These terms, you know what I'm saying? She took out a loan for me, and I took out one for myself. And she had a subsidized and unsubsidized, and I had a subsidized. Right. I didn't know what that meant at the time. You know what I'm talking about? So, get these loans, and now I start to realize, that scholarship money was paying for me to be here. Yep. I didn't realize that. So that changed my perspective on a lot of things. Like, you know what, this shoe thing is cool, but I might need to start going to class for real. Playing games is cool, but I need to balance my schedule a little bit better because I'm actually paying to be at college. This degree is an investment, so I didn't get that. You know what I'm saying? Perfectly, investment. Yeah, I didn't get that. We think of investments like houses and business. No, an investment even is going to college. An investment could be working out every day. You know, you might be 300 pounds a day, but you could be 110 tomorrow, all off investing and working out. But we don't look at it like that. Correct. So I'm in school now. I understand. I need to go to class to pass. Pass means less money I need to spend. This degree will help me out in life. So make me more money. Yeah. So man, I started going to class like no tomorrow. I got a better schedule. Obviously, I got kicked out of my degree plan. Like engineering, you had to have a 2.5 to stay. And with a 0.4, even though I did better that second semester, it wasn't going to yield me over. So I got kicked out. Yeah, in school, you get kicked out of majors. Yeah, they don't tell you that, but that can happen to you. And they don't show you any pity on it because you know what you get yourself into. Once you have academic probation, you sign, because I have to sign to acknowledge that. Correct. I had until a certain time limit to get that GPA up. I got it up. I think I went from a 0.4 to a 1.6, which is a big increase, but I was too low and they wasn't cutting it. Because you think about supply and demand, it was a lot of kids trying to get into that school. Especially A&M. Especially for engineering. So if they weren't, what did they owe it to me to let me stay? They owe me nothing. I owe them money. They don't owe me anything. Right. So they kicked me out. So then I became a poultry science major. Yeah, man, became chicken science major because that was the only GPA low enough that would take me. I had to be in a program, man. Oh, wow. Yeah, my man, you know what motivated me that? My mom told me one day, and there's no disrespect to them, my grandparents, they come from Hattiesville, Texas. Yeah. It's the South, you know what I'm saying? And my grandmother dropped out of school probably like 8th grade. My grandfather finished high school, but he went to the Army. That's what they did back then. Right. So college education outside of my mom, I'm second generation. They didn't feel like I could have made it at A&M because they felt like, my mom, which is true. I'm a mama's boy. I grew up with my mom pretty much till I was about 10, 11 years old till my stepdad came to the picture.
Yeah.
So, sometimes sons, we can be real attached to our moms. I didn't look at it like that. My mom did everything for me, from doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, reminders, take me to school, bought me clothes, food, you know what I'm saying? And I never realized how much I just depended on my mom until I went to college. And my grandparents told my mom that, he ain't gonna make it up there. He ain't got you near him. He ain't gonna make it. And to some extent, they was right.
Right.
Because I didn't have a reminder telling me to go to class. I call my mom, I make it seem like everything good.
Right.
Knowing I'm feeling, knowing I'm doing bad. It's all good, you know what I'm talking about? So, So I didn't want my grandparents to be right. I feel like, dang, it'll mean a lot to stay here and graduate.
Right.
So I became a chicken science major.
A little fire underneath there.
Yeah.
Moving.
Yeah, I became a chicken science major. I was like, well, I gotta do something. So I looked at poultry science. Hey, you need 1.0 to be in this GPA, or I'm in this major. I got 1.7. So chicken science major for a year. It was actually pretty fun. Man, I learned a lot in chicken science, man. Like just cultivating chickens, bird feedings for different chickens, ovulation periods for chickens and stuff like that. I didn't think I would know. It was interesting. I got to go to the George Bush Ranch out there at A&M and see one of the facilities. It was cool. Next semester, I became a what's it called for the plants? No, it's not kinesiology. Poultry. No, not poultry science. It's for plants. Horticulture. Horticulture major. Because I had to switch because now my GPA moving up, and I didn't want to be locked into poultry science. I wasn't trying to become a chicken scientist, so I moved into horticulture. So I go into that for another year or semester. That was fun too. Yeah, and learn about the mitochondria for plants, cell science, photosynthesis, and then the reverse of photosynthesis. I think what's reverse?
Cellular respiration.
Yeah, for CO2 levels and stuff like that, man. I'm not super knowledgeable on it, but I just learned some stuff from it. So I thought that was really cool, and I had a great teacher. One of the best teachers I ever had. Can't remember his name, but he was cool as far as like just plant science. So I look at plants way differently today than I used to. Like now, that's a living creature that produces oxygen for us. It's just it's complex. So did that till I finally got my GPA up enough to where I could transfer into the liberal arts major. Okay. So around this time, my girlfriend is really kind of pushed me more into education. Right. Because I love English. I was taking a bunch of English classes that helped my GPA because I knew I could pass those classes. Right. And she's like, hey, you really good at English, so why don't you think about teaching it? So, but me, I was like, man, I don't know about all that, you know what I'm saying? But at this point, I ain't gonna lie, I was desperate. Yeah. Because, now I'm in college, and for those who've been in college, you get to a point, and if you don't already know what you want to be, and I done hop majors like 2-3 times, now I have to find something to stick with. Because like I say, I realized it's cause money. The longer I stay here, they'll let me stay as long as I want, as long as that check keep coming in, you know what I'm talking about?
You're still paying it.
Right, but I had to pick something. I'm good at English, let me try liberal arts. Now in hindsight, I should have did the education major. Because if I did education, I would have moved into education sooner. Yeah, I thought if I'm gonna teach English, I need to major in English. Okay. So I could be all knowing in that, right? Right. So I started taking some English classes under the liberal arts major. I had this professor named Dr. Larry Oliver, one of the greatest English teachers I ever had in the collegiate level. You know what I'm talking about? We had this class. It was an ethnic literature class, and we were talking a whole bunch about just different literature pieces by, just different backgrounds. Right. Because around this time, it's about 2012. No, it's not 2012. It's about 2015, 2016, maybe 17 a little bit. And I'm sure y'all remember like the whole, what was the guy? He was an alt-right guy. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but remember there was a political group called alt-right, where they were moving more towards about making America great again before Donald Trump, but making America great again for white Americans. So the leader of that came to my campus. It was on CNN. It was a real big deal.
I'm trying to remember what it is. I know who you're talking about. I see him, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but he came to the school. So around this time, race is a big conversation, especially at A&M. A&M is a predominantly white institution. Don't offend me or nothing. I went to school there. I loved it, but as an African American man, or at least so-called African American, at least in this context, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
We were, I was 3% of the population there. So
Right.
it's a white Caucasian school. Literally all across the school, you see white people. Nothing wrong with that, because that's the school, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So race is a real big thing when I'm up there. So we in this ethnic literature class, and we talk about some real heavy things
Right.
going on in terms of, race, sex, gender, ethnicity, religion, you know what I'm saying? And I love those kind of conversations, because those are conversations where people have opinions and thoughts on us, but they don't like to share them because they don't
Right.
want to offend anybody. I don't care about offending people, because nothing I say, at least in my opinion, is offensive. I just say things from a perspective of truth.
Right.
It's not meant to offend you. Some things we can say are offensive because I might feel strongly about it, and you said something I didn't agree with, so now I'm offended.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. Perspective.
Perspective.
Yeah.
So, I'm in the class, and I'm doing well in the class. I write some good papers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm writing papers so good, I started writing papers for some of my classmates. And he started to kind of notice it, because he recognized my writing style.
Right.
So me and him get a good relationship. I feel like I talked to him about some things. He
Right.
gave me a lot of books for free. Just gave me a bunch of books. He's been retired. Gave me a bunch of books. We would meet and talk. So man, one day, he's like, yeah, I think you'd be a good teacher. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put you in connection with the liberal arts people at the school, and maybe we can start doing that whole pathway into education.
Oh.
So I was like, you know what? Sure, why not? I ain't got nothing going. So I started doing some substitute teaching / apprentice internship at A&M Consolidated High School under a teacher there named Mr. Williams. He was a real cool English teacher. He taught AP English, real cool, made me feel real comfortable in his classroom. I have a little spot, and just whatever he did and taught, I got to bear witness to that. I could help in any way I wanted. It was just a great experience for me. I went like twice a week, and it was cool, man. Like, I just appreciate being in the classroom and just seeing how I operated. So I did that for a little bit, and then of course I graduate. So when I graduate, I don't have an education major. I majored in English.
Yeah.
But I was doing so well in that. Connections pay off, you know what I'm talking about?
100%.
I was able to move to U of H with the Masters with Education Certification Program.
Okay.
So man, how that worked out, I graduate, I'm thinking I'm lit. I'm trying to get right to work. I'm tired of being in school. I need me some money, you know what I'm talking about? My girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, she fills out my UH application for me. We went out of town, we went to Corpus Christi. So we turning up, having a good time in Corpus, and she's like, I think you need to go get your master's degree.
Yeah.
You know me, I was like, I ain't about to do it. I've been in school like 5 years now, you know what I'm saying? I graduated 2018, 2019. I've been in school for a minute. Like, all the trials, tribulations I went through in that, and that was just education trials, tribulations. I didn't even speak on
life
going on in college, relationships, friendships falling apart, learning about who you really are versus who they really are, you know what I'm saying? So, man, I got out of school, I'm just trying to make some money and take care of my family. That's all I'm really trying to do. But she filled out my application for me, man, because I didn't think I was going to get in. Taking that educational blow like I did with Point 4, it really killed my educational confidence. I didn't think I was that smart like I used to be anymore. I was just disciplined enough to not quit.
That discipline can take you so far.
Yeah, so, man, next thing I know, I get this email like a month later from the University of Houston saying, congratulations, you've been accepted to the U of H master's degree program with teacher certification. And I was like, I don't remember doing this. And she said, well, I did it. And I was like, when did you do this? And she's like, oh, you was asleep. And I did it overnight. And I was like, man, you did this for me? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, dang, like,
you the one.
Probably one of the best investments somebody ever made in me, outside of like my parents and my grandma, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, dang. So I started going to class at UH. I was working during the day, and I would go to my English classes or education classes at UH at night. And yeah, great little schedule, man. I really felt first time when I got to math school, I finally felt like I was really doing college thing right. I'm going to work, I'm going to school, I'm doing well in classes, I'm talking to my professors, I'm going to office hours. It was just going great. Right. So I do that, graduate, get my master's degree. I was 24, maybe 25 years old, get my master's degree real young. Yeah. Now I'm certified to teach English for 4th through 8 content English. I get my pedagogy, and I get my ESL certification. So I feel like I'm lit, you know what I'm talking about? So man, but I still work at Office Depot. So at this time now I'm working at Office Depot. I was working there under a manager named Big Phil. Shout out to Big Phil, man. One of the best managers I ever had, you know what I'm talking about? Because he's one of the managers he didn't want us to stay at Office Depot. There's a lot of us young brothers working there.
Right, he wants the progression.
And he hired a lot of young brothers that worked there. And he was in the Army, military, he retired. He was real big on us minding our purpose. Yeah. So he knew I was in school, and I would tell him, like, I got class. Hey, you go ahead. Like, we're going to hold it down. Because he wanted us to move up out of that. He didn't want us to stay. Because he always just say, like, I don't want you to be my age working here. Because I work here for fun. I was in the Navy. Right. So I do this is what I do. But imagine you working here 40 years old, you got a family. It ain't going to cut it. So I need you to go to school, get that degree, and make something of yourself. So then you can have some money. We can link up later on in life and laugh about this. Yeah. So, you know, I really appreciate him because I was blessed my whole life with some good managers. I ain't gonna lie. Like, working, I've had great managers. I ain't just, you know, worked out that way. Yeah. So, graduate, still work at Office Depot. So now I'm trying to apply to schools. So I went to the Fort Bend job education, you know, I'm talking about the little job summit thing. Yeah. Job fair or whatever. Job fair. Yeah. So I'm there, but I don't have my ESL cert at the time. And when you move into English, they want you to have this ESL. ESL is English second language supplement, where basically we live in Texas. We have a large Hispanic population of students, or these kids that don't speak English. You know what I'm talking about? So I needed that to teach that content. Yeah. So I get through school. I do all that to get there, and now I need the certification. Right. Okay, whatever. I was substitute teaching at Lakeview Elementary. Shout out to that school. That was a great school. One of my favorite schools I ever worked at. It was lovely. Over there behind the sugar mill. And I was over there at Lake Olympia Middle School. I substitute taught at Baines and Missouri City one time, but mainly at Lake Olympia, and then mostly finished at Lakeview. Okay. So Lake Olympia, I was under a principal named Mr. Hodge. He was cool. He was the one that told me I needed to get ESL certification. Yeah. But when I graduated, I didn't have it at the time, so, you know, couldn't really do much with that. Yeah. So I get ESL certified, buy the book, study myself. I started taking this class that my mom put me in to help me. I forget the lady's name that helped me pass, but she was really, really helpful. She helped me every day. I went to the library over there for Westheimer, and we would meet for like 45 minutes. She helped my second language assignments, and I passed the test. So I finally get certified. So still working at Office Depot though. I applied at Cutler Middle School, Welch Middle School, Fondra Middle School. You know, trying to be in the area. Yeah. Couldn't get no hitbacks. Just wouldn't hit me back. So one day, man, I'm at Office Depot, back to school season, our busiest season. Yeah. And man, my old English teacher walked into this classroom, Karen Williamson. When I was going to Stafford and like my middle school time, she walked in and recognized me off rip, like see me bagging the school supplies, and she was like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "You know, we catch up." And then she asked, "What are you doing here?" I said, "You know, I'm working." You know what I'm saying? She said, "Well, shouldn't you be in school?" I said, "Well, I actually just graduated." And she was like, "Oh, okay, well, you know, what you majoring in?" I said, "I majored in English." And she said, "Oh, okay, well, you know, what are you gonna do with that?" And I was like, "To be honest, I don't know. Like, a lot of us major in things and we don't really think about what you're gonna do with that degree. And I really didn't know because I was applying to schools for teaching. It just wasn't hitting back. So, you know, I don't know. So then finally, she worked at Stafford High School, and she was like, "Well, you know what? We having a job fair tomorrow. I want you to come to that interview, and you're gonna get a job tomorrow." So, you know me, I was like, you know me, hey. I was like, man, that ain't about that.
Oh, so she said you gonna get a job.
Yeah, said it. Like, I don't believe in manifestation, at least to that degree. Like if I say, "Oh, I'm about to make $5,000 tomorrow," and it's just gonna happen like that, I don't believe in that. But I guess in a way you could say that was manifesting, right? Because she said it, and I went and talked to Big Phil. Soon as the line gets done, go to the back, say, "Big Phil, I know I got work tomorrow, but I got this interview at the school. My teacher just came in, woo-de-woo." He's like, "Oh, okay, bet. Go ahead, and then go ahead and put your 2 weeks in after. I said, because you're gonna get that job." And I was like, "Man, you think so?" He's like, "Man, you gonna get that job, man." So he said, "Take the day off, took me off schedule." He said, "Just come in on Sunday, like I normally did." Yeah. So he said, "Yes, come in Sunday and close, but you go tomorrow." I was bet, and he gave me $10. He gave this 10 he gave me, said, "Because you'll get something to eat before you go." So I was like, "Man, I appreciate that." So I woke up, you know, my mama made me some breakfast, you know, because I'm living at home. My stepdad coaching me up, you know what to say. Tell my dad, my people, my brother, tell everybody I got an interview. Right. So I go, man, and I'm nervous. Like I'm armpits sweating. I'm nervous, man. I'm like, oh boy, like this could be it.
Yeah.
Man, I never forget. I sat down with the principal at the time and another person whose name I won't disclose because we do work in the same district and everything, you know what I'm talking about. We sat down and we do the interview, right? We start the interview and I'm thinking this, I got these questions ready. You know what I'm talking about? Man, 5 minutes into the conversation, they're like, well, we will already give you the job, but we're just gonna do the interview for formalities. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, we're gonna get the job. We talked to Miss Williamson and we squeezed you in because of her words, said you was a great young man. And we want to work with you, and I couldn't believe it, y'all. Like I was just like, dang, like she
like
really said that was gonna happen, and it happened. So, man, I met at the time the AP, Mr. Kearns. I can say his name because he retired now. Shout out to Mr. Kearns, one of the greatest APs I ever worked under. And I never forget, I met him first. He shook my hand and said, "You're gonna do positive things in the district. Happy to work with you." And yeah, it was a wrap from there, man. Like just kind of stayed with it. Been at Stafford ever since. Things was going well, and I worked with a lot of my old teachers because I used to go to school there, like with Coach Rowe. We used to run track with Coach Rowe, Mr. Thompson. You know what I'm talking about? One of my favorite teachers there. You know what I'm saying?
That's my buddy right
there. Yeah, Coach Stevens used to be my math and basketball teacher. You know what I'm saying? Probably Coach Stevens outside of Mr. Steels in high school was probably one of my best math teachers. Him and Miss Kelly, because I really grew a lot with math in that class. Like. The way Coach Stevens was teaching math, at least then for me, it hit. Like I feel like I do math in my sleep now with pencil and paper. My math ain't great.
That's funny because Miss Cole Gallo.
Yeah, shout out to Cole Gallo, man.
Yeah, talked about him heavily and Kearns and stuff like that. So it's just awesome. So with a lot of that, the funny thing is we have very, very similar aspects in our journey in college and stuff like that. So like from the jump, my freshman year, I went to college and went straight into calculus.
Okay, for sure.
And then I changed my major many different times and actually stopped going to school for a little bit. And then decided, I owe it to my parents and the hard work that they did to get this education and have the aspect to improving my life and having options with this degree.
Absolutely, man.
And so kind of like I head down, nose to the grind, you know what I'm saying, taking all these crazy classes, taking 22 hours a semester, stuff like that, and working, and just on the grind.
Now you 22 hours and working?
Yeah,
hey,
$3.
Salute.
And also, this is when I was engaged and married to my first wife. So yeah, didn't have no time off. But the thing is even the interview aspect at Stafford was very similar. Of where I had my get-in was maybe 1 at the time, and I was working at Yes Prep previously, and I was like, all right, I gotta find something else. And walked in, sat down, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I got my oldest is over here. One of the teachers is drawing with him, kind of distracting him while I go up there. And I got my other son, that's one, sleep in my arms, having this interview, and I'm just
that's real.
I needed something. And how the way that things happened was pretty much I had to take all 3 of my tests to get certified in Texas because I was certified in Oklahoma.
For sure. But that's where you originally from?
I'm from Texas, but I was in Oklahoma after I graduated from Texas State. And so it was like, all right, well, we're going to take a gamble on you. But if you fail any of these tests, then we can't give you the job. Or you can have the job. So I was like, all right. And I was just at peace with it. Because I'm one of those test takers. Like, I beat myself up. And then this was the first time that I was just like, read the question, answer it, keep it moving.
Of course.
And I had like 80, the lowest grade I had on any of those, the pedagogy, the Texas, and then I had to do the Oklahoma pedagogy. Somehow, some way I got certified and I wasn't really supposed to. So I had to make up for that. And so, that was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so.
That's a blessing, man.
But what I hear was just community, it takes a village, and that people saw something in you that you didn't quite see yet.
Yeah, man, growing up, I reflect a lot on life now. Like, I'm all about self-reflection because we've made some mistakes in life or did things in the wrong way that we probably could have did it better.
Right.
So these days, I take myself very serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, because my dad always told me, nobody take you more serious than yourself. Nobody take better care of you than you, Brandon. So, you know, when I was young, I wasn't just super confident in myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what it stemmed from. You know, I thought about it sometimes maybe because maybe my parents was divorced. So maybe I didn't have, my dad's a real strong-minded, militant-minded individual. Yeah. I like to think of it like I had this ruling class mindset. I was watching YouTube videos probably like 5 years ago. Brother on YouTube named Chronicles of Judah 144. Mm-hmm. I always shout him out because watching his videos changed a lot of how I thought. And he reminded my dad. My dad, real ruling class mindset. Yeah. Don't settle for less. Think of yourself very highly, regardless of what the world might tell you, society might tell you. Regardless, you know what I'm saying? Right. So that's fast forward. But in the past, I didn't think like that. You know, my dad wasn't in the house. My mom, pretty much me and my mom. I know my dad, but maybe him not being there, I don't have that strong outlet every day. Okay. And then maybe too, when I was in school, elementary school, and then little middle school, I did get bullied, you know what I'm saying? I was tall and lanky, and I'm into anime. And then at that time, I wore glasses. I got a big head. I'm just thinking, it just wasn't working for me in school. You know, Stafford at that time was very diverse. When I was going to Glover, I didn't notice it as much, but I couldn't read when I was at Glover. So, yeah, it's funny. I learned how to read. It was a program I took at Glover that taught me how to read, but I was struggling in school. Right. My mom had a different kind of job. So my mom left that job to get a more stable job. That's how I started going to Stafford. Okay. And then I went up education because stability, which we see these kids don't have stability. Right. So stability helped me out a lot. But, you know, I'm in school. When I went to Stafford was definitely diverse. It wasn't as it is now. Stafford was more white mixed, Hispanic mixed, Asian mixed. Couple black kids here and there and or African students. Yeah. Now Stafford is black and brown. Yep. That's what it is. You know, things change. But when I was there, it wasn't like that. So I was too black for the white kids and the Hispanic kids, because, you know, I used to live in South Park, I live in Missouri City. Yeah. But I wasn't black enough for the black kids, because these black kids, I always would say Stafford is not the hood. It's not the hood. It's a suburban area. It's smack dab of suburbanism, you know what I'm talking about? But the mindset of some of the kids coming over there, it's almost like we was trying to outperform or show more of who we are based on our skin color. Right. And I had a lot of students that were Nigerian that was my friends, but I didn't really relate to them too much because I'm not Nigerian, at least in terms of ethnicity. Right. You know what I'm talking about? Right. So I really didn't feel like I fit in over there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm over here. You know, I played basketball with Coach Stevens. Shout out to Coach Stevens. But I wasn't the best on the basketball team. I was on the B team. But, you know, shout out to B team. But I'm tall, so I'm expected to be good at basketball. But I'm not. You feel me? So it was a lot of expectations of who I thought I had to be and who I wasn't. And it kind of got to me a little bit. Makes sense. I'm supposed to be. Yeah. Now I try to go to the gym. I'm not a swole guy, you know what I'm saying? But I try to be calisthenically fit. You know, I work on doing push-ups, pull-ups, dips, stretching my body. Because stretching, you know, if you don't stretch your body, you can lose your ligaments. You know, I'm really into that. And I run, you know, I try to go to the gym almost every day if I can. And I hope people can tell, but, you know, whatever. But anyway, I used to go to the weight room at Stafford. And I couldn't lift the bar when I was in like 7th grade. I mean, my friends gave me a time for that, boy. Like, just as a young man, like lifting that bar, that was like make or break. And I couldn't do it, you feel me? So that stuff got to me, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So I get to high school, and unfortunately, I try to reinvent myself. Yeah. So I used to live in the hood, and kind of living in where I was at Missouri City wasn't really the hood, but you had some things happen here and there. But now I get to Marshall, and like I reinvent myself now. Like now, when I live in South Park, now I try to go over there a lot more. I try to become more of that because unfortunately, I learned if I want respect from my peers, I gotta become this or urbanize myself a lot more. Okay. I've been urban my whole life, but I never thought about it like that. Right. You know, but now I realize that's the only way. If you wanna, I feel for a lot of these young these young melanated young boys sometimes, because I do get it. Like, I get why they do what they do. I get why they act the fool. I get why they show out, because the young women that they attracted to show them the most attention.
Right.
But the young women, we're not attracted to the smart brothers, unfortunately.
The anime one.
Yeah, it just ain't. Maybe later on in life, but don't let people fool you, man. Like, it wasn't that even in today's time. So I'm not gonna necessarily act the fool. I just probably shouldn't have got involved in some things I did get involved in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't raised like that. My parents is not like that, but you know, that's just what it was. I learned a lot from it. I learned a lot from it. So, you know, now, fast forward, I take myself serious. I never allow myself to do that. I never allow myself to be in them kind of environments or even think I have to do that. Because, you know, reading is fundamental. I've always been in the history. You start to learn how tropes are resurfacing in our society. Like Sarah Boatman, I think I maybe got her last name wrong. You know, the black woman who was trafficked through all the 1800s because of her voluptuous body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now we look into today's time, and that's all we see. So you start to learn these things. You're like, you know what? Like,
going back,
I don't have to be this.
Right.
I don't have to perpetuate myself like this. There are smart brothers and sisters in time that have been this, and we used to actually have more self dignity and respect, regardless. And that stuck with me.
Yep.
And then I went to A&M, man. That's what really stuck, because you know now I'm 3%.
Yep.
And there's nobody out here looking like me like that. And I don't even fit in with them black kids up there like that.
Right.
Because they come from Dallas and Fort Worth. And I ain't saying that to say we don't relate, but they were just a lot different than how I normally do things in Houston. You know what I'm talking about? So I didn't relate to them like that. It just, I was pretty much dolo. Like 5 years, I pretty much, maybe not say 5, 4, 3.5 years. It was just me. Like, wake up, feet to the pavement.
Yep.
My own schedule, my own thoughts. Especially when I started living by myself in college, it's just me.
Yep.
And I got to really learn who I was and what I was about and what I stood for. And I just started taking myself extremely serious. Like, you know, I don't let people have short me, disrespect me. And not to say that disrespect in the sense that I got to respond. I'm aware, okay, I can tell you don't respect me like that. Okay, so, you know, I'll fall back and be cool with falling back.
Exactly.
Yeah, not begging for attention or doing things for attention, or just I'm okay with myself. So, yeah, man, you know, it's I know I'm talking about that a lot, but it's a big thing. It's fresh for young people who might watch this, just to take yourself serious, because you know a lot of things in life will tell you that you can't be anything or you're this. If you really want to be that, you can be that. But it all comes from how bad do you want to be it. Right. You know what I'm saying? The YouTube thing, my wife got me started with that, but I motivate myself to record. Like, that's my thing. School, if I want to get involved, I seek it out. You know what I'm talking about? I ask more questions and I try to learn in these uncomfortable situations. It took a lot of uncomfortable situations for me growing up to really understand, you know what, I can thrive in anything. Yeah. Most things, you know what I'm saying? Because I ain't been in everything.
No, I think, once again, what I keep hearing is, and I actually have a book, extreme ownership.
Yeah.
Like, you went to the point of when you learned those lessons and someone helped guide you or just gave you a little push, but once that little push happened, you took reins of that and was like, all right, let's go. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is such an important thing, especially to our students and other people, of like, you take responsibility of your actions and your reactions. Like what you said, like, oh, I see that you treat me like this, let me just fall back. You know what I'm saying? And I think I've definitely done that into where I've had to love people from a distance. Because
man.
Once you start messing with my peace, then I have to reevaluate this relationship. And it's first understanding who you are and what you want to find peace in, and then from there retain it and hold on and cultivate.
Yeah, man, I was watching the interview you did with Mr. Goodwin. You know what I'm talking about? And y'all spoke on something about the generational blessings, you know what I'm talking about, which I thought was very pivotal. And I think that, you know, I love to read because reading allowed me to understand a lot about myself and where we come from, right?
That's good.
So I never wanted to become the stereotypical angry black dude. Cause one, we not really black. Black is a color. Like my shirt is black. You know what I'm talking about? We different shades of brown, different forms of melanin in our skin that keep us resistant to the sun and all other things that the Lord has blessed us with. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
but
you just a little bit more tinted to me. Just
and that's it.
A little more tinted.
But that's a beautiful thing that we share and having our skin, because that's something that the Lord has blessed us with. Because you look at the environment. Like, I'm not trying to tangent for a little bit, but you know, for example, we do have some groups of people that like to call themselves the original Egyptians, right? Right. I don't proclaim myself to be Egyptian, Kemet, whatever. But scientifically, it's hot in Egypt, bro. Like, it's cold and hot. So that skin color is important. I like to think about some of the things that we might go through as so-called black people in this world. It has to be for a reason or a purpose. Right. It's just not things are by design, right? So anyway, you know, just I didn't want to be like a lot of people that I grew up with, or even where I was from. You know, I graduated from college. A lot of my homies went to college, but I think I'm the only one that graduated.
And you got your master's.
A lot of my homies, when we was in school, I graduated a class of 227. Yeah. We started with a class of 500 as freshmen. So 300 kids either dropped out, went to jail, incarceration, or at worst, death. A couple of my friends I was in school with did die. You know, they were shot, violence. You know what I'm saying? With the generation of blessings, man, I've learned, especially being a so-called young black man, we passed on a lot of generational trauma to our families. And I didn't want to continue that. I look at my grandparents and what they've had to deal with. You know, my grandpa was in the army during a very racist period in time. You know, they lived in the South. That in Hattiesville, it's the train tracks that divided, and it's a black side, it's a white side, and it's like that. You know what I'm saying? Sundown towns do exist. Yep. My grandma dropped out in the 8th grade. She used to pick cotton. That's why we wasn't so far removed from that. Right. My mom and them grew up in the 60s, the 70s. Very revolutionary time period for blacks. Mm-hmm. You know, my mom, black woman. You know, she has a degree. My dad, he's been through a lot in life. You know, and going through things even to this day. I've never seen him make an excuse. My dad, arguably, has been through a lot, and I've never seen him make an excuse. So I just think about, it's 2024. What excuses can I really make for myself? Ooh. You know, so much access to technology. I see young black people driving Teslas. And not saying it like a wealth thing, but Teslas ain't cheap. Teslas is a wealth status in down here. I'm telling you, see people driving Teslas, you know they must be doing something at least decent. Or they could be fake kicking it. But you know what I'm talking about? For the most part, yeah. Yeah, you see people driving big Ford Raptor trucks, 4x4s with the big rims and the big gas pipes. That shows income. I see young black people doing these things that they said that are impossible for us to do. So I didn't want to
the correct way.
I didn't want to set that trend of, I can't do this because I'm this. Right. I can't do this because I'm this. I can't. No, I can. Yeah. I live in Sugarland right now. When I was back then, we used to think Sugarland was only for the white Caucasian people. Right. Man, it's so many black people, and not just black. Middle Eastern. Yep. Asian. Like, you just learn, like, it's really not that. Society is not really what you think it is, because you have to go off of what your perspective is and your peripheral. I used to be against police officers, and I never knew why until I started really seeing a lot of the police violence. Right. And it's not to say that police violence doesn't happen, but have I ever been victimized by the police? No. If I'm being honest, in the times where I was right and wrong. Right. Now, let me not say that. There has been one time I was a victim of police brutality when I was in college. Yeah. But I'm just happy that it went smooth. Yeah. I got accused of a SA case, if you know what SA is. Yeah. I wasn't even connected to it. I was in the dorm. This happened way across. Right. But I fit the description. Right. Fit the description. Yeah. So when I say all these things, I'm not saying to say that stuff doesn't exist. I'm not a fool. But I don't wake up every day with that on my mind. Right. The first thing I think about is I'm a so-called black man in the United States of America. No, I wake up, I'm Brandon Cotton, I'm a man, I got a wife, I got a family, I gotta go to work today, I got things I gotta do, and it's gonna get done. Yeah. Most days, Lord willing, are better than others. Right. You know, sometimes we go through trials and tribulations, but so did Christ. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I'm saying? So if I'm not far removed from him, you know, what makes me better? Am I saying my life is perfect where I can't go through things? So I just don't look at it like that, man. I take myself serious one day at a time. and I try to make the most out of all opportunities I get. Anything that's presented to me. I had the opportunity the other day. I've been trying to get into real estate.
Yep.
Like I've become a homeowner for the first time in the summer, you know what I'm talking about? And I've been trying to learn as much as I can from that. Because you realize how much you don't know about home market, or selling home, what a mortgage is, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know, just don't know. So now I'm in these conversations, hey, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? When I go look at my house being built, and I see the Hispanic brothers that's out there working, and I know a little bit Spanish, I ask them, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What is this for?
Right.
And they tell you, because they don't ever think people even ask them, because they get looked at a certain kind of way in society too. And they build our homes, lay a lot of our foundation for our produce, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, you just take life more serious, take yourself more serious, take the people around you more serious, because you could learn something from these people if you really are asked them to learn. Stop just getting around your homies and just chilling playing 2K.
Correct.
Yeah, we gotta have more intellectual conversation going on, because now it's just being passed, man. Now it's just being passed for real.
Man, man. Yeah, we definitely don't have to have a part 2.
Yeah, I know, my bad. I kind of did get a little tangent wise, you know what I'm talking about.
But no, it all makes sense. It's all connected. All right, so what would you say is your message of the moment after all of this that we've talked about? If you could articulate in a message. Man,
three messages.
Let's go.
For one, like I said, take yourself serious, because you'll be surprised, man. Like, when I started taking myself more serious, a lot of better things started happening for me. I stopped settling for mediocrity. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times, people think I'm probably real good at basketball. I'm decent at basketball, but I ain't the best. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Brother Huff and Givens, you know. They way better at basketball than me. Just being honest, you know what I'm talking about? But hey, I give credit where it's due.
Correct.
You know, Randolph, real strong brother, you know what I'm talking about? Randolph probably puts way more weight than me. You know what I'm talking about? But I still take him serious, and I still take myself serious, because he might have that on me, but that don't mean I'm less than him.
Nope.
And I stopped looking at things like that.
Comparison.
Just stop comparing, you know, so take yourself serious for sure.
Yeah.
And then take your family serious. The people in your life that really are investing in you. We come from sometimes broken homes.
Right.
We come from bad situations. And everybody, just because they birth you don't mean they're your parent.
Right.
I mean those people that are really in your life. Somebody, hopefully we all have one.
At least
even if it's a teacher. You know, because I've had some students tell me that I made a real big difference in their life and looked at me like I was a dad. That's a heavy shoe to fill at 25, 26 years old. You know, when you ain't even got kids, like, man, this dude look at me like I'm his dad. I ain't even got my own kids, so.
Listen, I've had kids be like, I wish you were my dad.
What?
I was like, listen, you would definitely be different.
What? Oh my God. Like,
you think
what?
I'm rough? You think I'm tough on y'all? Imagine how I am with my kids.
Yeah.
Right. But.
And it hits you, because it's like you want to help and you can't. And it's like,
there's a big buffer as a teacher and mentor and older brother or dad figure with those students that sometimes you just like you want to be there, but then that's passing that
it's compassion. You know, you feel for them, you want better for them. It just, you know, I didn't say that because sometimes we have the people in our lives that we need to always be there. You know, I used to think my grandma was gonna always be there, at least till I got out of school, got my first house. Man, my grandma died in 2014. You know what I'm talking about? To health, you know what I'm saying? So it didn't have to go like that, but if I would have known, I would have spent more time. I used to go to my grandma's house and just play the game. I would talk to my grandma for sure. I would talk to her. I used to call her, but let's play the game, you know, eat whatever she made.
Right.
And just be at for fun and at peace, but I wasn't cognitive. My grandmother's 60 years old, finna be 70, you know what I'm talking about? She getting older.
Right.
My grandma always had gray hair when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I never knew that was a sign of age.
Yeah.
Found out breast cancer running my family.
Ooh, okay.
I never knew that my grandmother had one of her breasts removed. Whole life did not know that. Yeah. So I started to become more aware of these kind of things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My grandfather in the military. You know, he went through some things. I just became more aware of it.
Yeah, take your family serious. Yeah.
So if I had known, now I call my grandfather a lot, and we talk a lot about really it's more so him talking and me just listening and learning and if stuff he went through and how he sees society and advice. You know, I listen now. I do less talking, less and fun, more soaking up game.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? We was fun here and there, but more so for that. You know what I'm talking about? So I take it more serious, try to spend more time with my dad, call my dad more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Because my dad ain't gonna always be there. There was a point in my life I was upset with my father for some things, but I let that go.
Right.
Because one day I miss my dad and regret that time.
Exactly.
And I try to spend a lot of time with my mom, my stepdad, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, got a situation going with that I can't really disclose because it don't just affect me.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just try to spend more time with them because, you know, they ain't gonna always be there. My little brother too, because my brother, I see a lot of myself in him. Mm-hmm. And I've learned so much, like we say, passing on generational blessings. Shout out to Brother Goodwin. I want to pass on those things to him and help him out more in life because I see a lot of the self-doubt, not confidence, you just in him, and I don't want him to experience that. Because I feel like, you know, you can live maybe a better 18 to 25 than I did. You know what I'm saying?
Learn from this. All right, so what's message number 3?
Man, message number 3, if it's not figure out your faith, is get off the internet. It is for me, you know what I'm talking about. I say one, to figure out your faith. Yeah. I believe in autonomy. Okay. So you're free to think and do what you want to do. That's the thing that God blessed us with, in free will. Right. But for me, I've always been a believer in God, but I never really knew what that meant growing up. Yeah. We just go to church. I don't know why I'm going to church. Right. I'm just going to church. So then I kind of got to maybe like about 19, 20, that I kind of fell off with religion. Right. Because, like I said, during this time, it was real pivotal. A lot of race things going on in the country. Race and social construct don't really exist, but you know, going on. But so we here. I really get involved in that whole, the Bible is a white man's religion. Right. You know, haven't read the Bible for myself, and that's what I'm going off of. Right. And I kind of see some connections with some of the scriptures being used for enslavement. Right. Certain scriptures.
Good catch.
Certain scriptures.
Here, let's just do this.
I didn't mess my man set up, man. That means that's how you know it's time to get it right. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I think it's a white man's religion. I haven't read the book for myself, so it kind of disconnected me from the Bible a little bit. Right. Because I'm thinking, you know, if I'm a true black man, African spirituality, I need to get more into that. Right. In the root thing and all that. Okay. I didn't really get too into it. I started doing a lot more research on other forms of spirituality, like, you know, Ifa, Santeria, stuff like that. But then, that was just kind of a little phase. I didn't do much with it. Yeah. I was talking to this one chick. I ain't gonna get too much into that. You just be surprised at what people are into, bro. You be surprised. And you start to see how that actually can be so true to it. Right. So, I'm reading, I'm learning stuff, man. Until finally I get my wife. My wife's real big on her faith. Okay. And she used to be like me too. We weren't always there, you know what I'm saying? It's a journey. Searching, yeah. So my wife's real big on her faith, and one time me and my wife had a real serious conversation about faith. Mm-hmm. And I told her, I said, you know, as good as a person I think I am, I've done some bad things in my life. I'm not perfect, and I do believe one day I'm probably gonna burn in hell. I was like, oh really? Yeah, I said, because I never want to believe I'm too good where that can't happen. Correct. You know what I'm saying? So I do think my thoughts, how I move, you know, I got some friends, they in the streets. I hang with these people sometimes, you know. Yeah, it's a possibility. I said, yeah, I think I'm going to go to hell. I said, I don't talk about it, but it be on my mind. Yeah. And she was like, you think that for real? And I was like, yeah. So, man, she invested in me. My wife, man, shout out to my wife, man. Like, Brianna has been a real big support for me in my 20s. Like, you know, I don't like to give a lot of credit to people like that because sometimes people will misuse that. But I know she won't. She's been there when I ain't had nothing. Yeah. No money, no education. She invested into me to who I am now. Yeah. But anyway, just real big. It got me back to go to church. Yeah. And now when I'm going back to church, I wasn't going to church from the perspective I'm just a young man in church. I don't know what to talk about. Yeah. I actually bring my Bible now and try to read with them and decipher it. I started reading the Bible for myself. It took a whole year. I read it for myself. Yeah. Do I know everything in the Bible? No. There's a lot of things that happen in the Bible. A lot of small things, big things, intricate things. Yep. But I know enough now to know that my faith is strong, and I do believe in Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to spend a little bit of time on that other side to see, oh, this stuff is not for play. Like these people that really, and I'm just saying, these people that maybe on the other side that believe in them things, they do things too that show what they believe in is true.
Right.
And if you do believe in God, you must believe in the other. You know what I'm saying? And then, I ain't gonna say I was scared. It just shocked me because you just realize how small your mind is and how limited on things you think you know.
Right.
The Bible helped me really get into history, of historical perspectives on it, of where it really means to be in Jerusalem, or right now we kind of got some situations going on in the Middle East of being what it means to be an Israelite,
right,
or a Hebrew language, trying to read Hebrew or read Greek. These different things. It got me into that. So my faith is strong, man. Finding my faith really gave me a lot of ground to stand on, of moral compass. Like, no, I'm not going for that. Regardless of what the world might go, because we can't be of the world, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of the world, I still have foundation for myself. And the Lord is with me, man, because some things in life that shouldn't have went the way it went, like that job thing with Miss Williamson, it shouldn't have went like that. I do believe that was a blessing that the Lord sent me, because it seemed like it worked out too perfectly. And some things are just unexplainable.
Can't explain,
But definitely, if it's not the faith thing, because some people that's get off the internet, because the internet corrupts your mind. The internet gives you a lot of self-doubt. It makes you feel like you're not good enough. We digest so much unnecessary material. Like, you really shouldn't know about such and such having a broken relationship, of a relationship of celebrities. Like, what does that do for your life? Right. See, I'm not big on idolatry. Like, that's one thing I picked up from the Bible for sure, and I realized how much of an idols I had of Michael Jordan. I'm not. He's just a guy. No disrespect to him. I'm just saying, like, he's just a man. He has his own family. He got his own situation. I got my own family, my own situation. Right. So I shouldn't be trying to spend all my time worrying about what he got going on. I still got stuff going on. And I think that's such a big problem in our community as so-called black people, is idolism. Just worshiping people who would spit on you. And I hate to say that, but I'm just being 100. They don't look at us the same way we look at them. Or, and I never want to get caught up in that. So get off the internet, get off of TikTok, get off of, you could be on it, but honestly, we're not disciplined enough to digest that kind of material at that rate. Constant algorithm feed, constant dopamine getting hit.
Especially our younger generation.
We're not meant for that. And the internet is so foul these days. Like, Instagram is for pictures. Instagram is almost like a soft core site, because it's your feed is explicit. And it has no boundaries. Kids can even access that kind of material. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just not really for the internet like that. Yeah, I do YouTube, but I'm on YouTube watching videos for sneakers and how to cut down trees and fishing. I try to use the internet for just mode and just being entertained. Entertainment can be a detriment to a lot of us. And not just us as black people in general.
As a society.
Yeah, we spend too much time trying to be entertained instead of trying to get somewhere closer to our faith or better with our families. And we spend a lot of time just cooped up in the house, watching the screen, and not spending time in life. The world passing by beautiful days all spring break. We had some nice weather. And most times, probably some of y'all watching this ain't been outside one time. You know what I'm talking about? Exactly. So that's what I would give. Of course, I have a lot more, but I feel like them 3 things benefited me in life a lot. Taking myself serious, spending more time with my family, those who matter, and finding my faith, and just cutting back on nonsense things. It ain't got to be the internet. Just, if people doing drugs, you don't do drugs, don't hang out with them. It's gonna hurt for a little bit, because them could be your homies, but
that distance we talked about.
That's just not you. If people go to the club, I know I'm not into the club, so I just don't go. I might not get to go and hang out with them in that environment, but you know what I like to do that if my homies don't like to do? I like to go play basketball at the park at 10 o'clock in the morning when the sun beaming. Nice skin, sun hitting your skin. or go to Oyster Creek Park and walk. People ain't into that. So you start to realize one of the biggest things I took from reading Malcolm X's autobiography is self-interest. Just because we might be from the same place or similar backgrounds, is like-mindedness that makes us mold together. And communion at church, if Christ is through all of us, it don't matter if you're a white man, red man, yellow man, we could all relate on something. And like-mindedness has really been a big thing for me, because me and Coach Randolph are like-minded in a lot of ways. I feel like I talked to him about a lot of things, and we didn't grow up together. You know what I'm saying?
Different generation.
But like-mindedness can grow from that. And I think sometimes we gotta spend less time trying to always bridge connections with things that just ain't like-minded. You can try for sure, but I know in the Bible it talks about after you try to consult with yourself and consult amongst a group of committee members, and you take it before the Lord, if it still ain't that,
then it ain't that.
It just gotta be gone, and you gotta be okay with that.
Yep.
So hopefully that makes a lot of sense. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, man, the way that you summarized that whole last thing about the internet and everything is exactly why this podcast exists.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Because all we trying to do here at the Just the Messenger podcast is spread the message of love, of hope, of joy, and of peace.
For sure.
Right? And try to, like, I wanted this to be a podcast where we talked about the other stuff.
Of course.
Not the negative, not this person's relationship, not this, but the journey of your life and your experiences and how other people can learn from that.
For sure.
And so we just happen to use the internet as a tool to spread that message. And I just hope that, well, I know that someone is definitely going to learn from your wisdom and everything that we just did right here.
Man, it's like what you just said. Use it as a tool.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a great tool. The Lord has given us access to technology.
Yep.
And technology is a beautiful thing. It's moving kind of fast, but it's beautiful how we use it. But yeah, man, when you using your platform, that's one thing I love about your platform, Randolph, is most time I ain't gonna lie, when I hear people say they're gonna do a podcast, I start thinking about all the other podcasts we got of just people talking about things happening in the world.
Right.
And maybe they got women on there, maybe they don't. Maybe they got controversial topics, maybe they don't.
Yeah.
So it's just nice to see a platform of actual conversations about just things that people can really digest. You know what I'm talking about? Because, man, half the time on these podcasts, it's only so many times I want to hear about what you do with your body parts, man. I'm sure you know that's just a booming conversation piece.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I guess, man.
We're in a different phase. But
so
this is Just the Messenger podcast, just trying to change the world one message at a time. So let's vibe out to this message moments music and know that you are loved, you are cherished, and you are cared for.
Most definitely, man.
So until next time, Selah.
Already, God bless.